Cool, so after a little bit of mucking about, I've used some of the sequencer functions on the Moog to make a sequence, and it's just bringing back some of that like funk that's sort of been missing from bass lines. You know, a lot of like, oi, do you mind not fucking talking in the middle of the video, mate? I'm trying to talk to my mum at home, mate. She's the only one watching this video, and you like making a big noise.
Engineers round the corner.
So what I was saying is, you know, for a long time, bass got really, really boring. Like, a lot of house records used to actually have acoustic bass players recorded on them. And so you had like a lot of velocity, and you had a little bit of articulation in the way that the bass was recorded. And, you know, bass players play bass really well. And then like, electronic music went through this phase of just really boring bass sounds. And for years, it's just been sidechained fucking sawtooth, you know, which is rhythmically, not just rhythmically boring on the offbeat, but there's no variance in each note. It all just sounds the same. So I was going through like a bass crisis, mate. I didn't know what to do with my bass. Call 911 now! I've always been trying to find a chord progression that you could use in an electronic piece of music, but that has like a full-on classical modulation in it. So for the album, I decided to change the context, go down to like 118 BPM, and see if I could finally work in like a classical pivot modulation into an electronic track. And I think I've actually got it right. So it starts with lead notes from D minor. Here's the module. So it's that moment that gives you that like really, it's almost like a classical sort of 1930s avant-garde feel in the tonality that you hear as we go on. And when you drop the root notes in the bass, especially if it's a fat bass, mate, it really sounds cool. So I don't want to give away too much, yeah? I'm going to have my manager on the phone. We just got the new Mother 32, the 3-rack. I've had one of these oscillators for just over a year, and I dig it. It's actually the bass patch we used in Down Dog. If you know, that record comes from this.
So now I'll ask you just to sit comfortably.
And it's got that like typical sound, very cool, sort of sawtooth. It is a sawtooth oscillator or a square. So it's very like basic tones, but the filters, I mean, everybody talks about analog and it's like a big wank, you know, people are talking about analog and they don't really know why they have analog, but really why you pay for analog is you pay for the filters, and you pay for the fact that you can overload the circuitry and it keeps on sounding better. So like case in point, if we just listen to oscillator 1, okay, so I've got a sequence running inside the Moog's internal sequencer, and the first thing that I love about this is it's got some of the old school sequencing functions that the Roland TB303 introduced. So it's got gate tie, and it's got accent, and it's got ratchet. So all those ratchet, are you fucking ratchet crazy, mate? It's got a lot of functions that the TB303 made famous in those like acid house bass lines. And on top of that, it has a resonance that sounds very TB303, but not shit. So check this out. Okay, so I'm running the sequence out. I'm going to take that resonance all the way up on the analog oscillator. You hear when it sweeps, See that? It's not phasing like a digital oscillator. It sounds fucking insane. It just eats that resonance up. Listen to that. All the neighborhood dogs is crying out. It's a very high frequency. It's actually, see that? Now that is analog resonance. Is there a word for that, Mark?
Yeah, hot.
Hey?
Hot.
Yeah, hot. Or fucking up. No, there's like a word when something resonates so hard that it starts like feedbacking on itself. So do yourself a favor. Like if you have Arturia, if you are a synth geek and you have like Arturia, or you have like a Moog emulation, do exactly this. Like write a bass patch with some velocity, and then like take that resonance really, really high up, like past 3/4, okay, and sweep the filter frequency, and you are not going to hear anything close to that. What you're going to hear is digital phasing, and you're going to hear distortion. It's going to sound like shit. So anyway, enough of a sales pitch. That's the bottom line. Now, the fucking ridiculous thing about this thing is, so obviously everything's automatable over time. There we're just cutting that decay time. Now check, you can still change keys. Alright, so it's pretty neat, isn't it? Now where it gets really neat is obviously you're meant to run it with like more than one voice, yeah? So this thing's been here for 2 weeks and we've just got the sequencing figured out. It's pretty fucking high grade, right? Basically, so if you don't know what the fuck that means, don't worry, because I just made it all up. It doesn't actually mean anything. The bottom line is they all play together at the same time. So listen to oscillator 2 alone. Okay, it's not the world's best secret, so let's just put in a generic. You can hear again. Resonating. Alright, so if I introduce oscillator 1, just gently below. Yeah, drop them fat beats, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. And I'm trying to. I mean, the album's going to be all sorts of things, but I'm just trying to bring back a little bit of funkiness, you know, a little bit of happiness. You know. Anyway, that's this week's half synth geek tutorial, and I'll see you guys when I get back later.